And now you have to ask yourself, how did 50 come into the possession of Diddy's footage for Diddy's documentary about Diddy?
A lot of insight. And, this documentary is about people being able to tell their truth or tell their version of the story.
For years, Katt Williams was known for speaking boldly about the entertainment industry, but his comments in early 2024 attracted a very different level of attention. He suggested that powerful people could avoid scrutiny while others carried the consequences, raising questions about who truly controls the narrative. When later controversy surrounding major figures intensified, viewers began revisiting those old remarks and looking at them through a new lens. Katt never presented a confirmed list of names, but his warnings created enough curiosity for audiences to wonder whether there was a larger story behind the scenes.
Comedy Jam 25. It's good to see so many funny people together in one room, all wondering the same thing. It's Katt Williams.
The discussion became even more interesting when viewers noticed that certain major personalities were rarely mentioned in conversation surrounding the controversy. That absence quickly became a topic of online debate. One name repeatedly brought into those discussions was Snoop Dogg, largely because of his long-standing connections within the music industry. However, online speculation is not the same as verified evidence, and there is no basis for treating rumors as established fact. What remains compelling is the broader question: why do some industry relationships receive intense scrutiny while others receive very little attention?
This audio from Suge Knight. It's from his podcast with Dave Mays, and he's speaking on, Tupac and Snoop being cool, and how, after Tupac got killed, Snoop started hanging out with Diddy. And, he also speaks on how, Snoop, he did the Steve Harvey show with Diddy after Tupac got killed. Check this out.
Okay. It's downloading right now.
Then you look at the scenario how everybody used Pac to make their stuff famous or make their project better. You got people who use their songs with Pac and tell them how much they love Pac, but they do songs with Puffy. You got Steve Harvey, a whole bit that, this motherfucker telling, well, Pac going to everybody else. And he brings Snoop and Puffy on there and say, these are dudes who's running this in the East Coast, West Coast.
What's up, Snoop?
What's up, huh? Hey, whoa. Wait a minute, fellas here. Hold up. I know all about this East Coast, West Coast rivalry thing here, but we in Chicago now. This rivalry stuff, we gotta stop it, man. We stop that, we stop a lot of this violence.
Yo, Steve, check this, man. All that East Coast, West Coast stuff is a bunch of media hype. It's been my dog from day one, you know what I'm saying? It's all good between me and him. That's my peoples.
For real, that's what we came in for. We came in and light it up and ride it up. We make music.
Now, Pac, if you love Pac so much, how you with the motherfuckers, they got something to do with the first get down that happened to Pac in New York, then the second one.
What you think about Suge comments? And I never asked you this before, but did you have an issue with Snoop hanging out with Diddy after Tupac got killed?
I always felt that was wrong. I'm gonna just keep it real. I'm talking about from that, like now, okay. You know what I mean? I'm 46, Snoop probably early 50s. If he figured out now, he might go by the opinion like, okay, Puffy had nothing to do with Pac. We grown now. If he want to be his friend, no problem. But back then, that was just awkward. You know what I mean? And the reason why it was awkward to me that I never even like it because you knew how Pac felt about this.
That tension was visible during the BET Awards, when Kevin Hart referenced Diddy without turning the moment into a direct attack. The room immediately understood the subject, and the audience reaction showed just how sensitive the topic had become. Hart also made an important distinction between ordinary entertainment events and the allegations being examined in court. The moment demonstrated how difficult it had become for entertainers to address the controversy while maintaining a professional atmosphere. Even a brief joke was enough to trigger a much larger conversation online.
You lying! You're lying! He's lying! He didn't even buy it yet! Listen, he's lying!
Kevin Hart's name also became part of the online discussion, with various claims and old clips being circulated across social media. Some viewers interpreted those moments differently after the controversy surrounding Diddy intensified, while others pointed out that speculation does not establish wrongdoing. That distinction matters. Public figures can become connected to a story simply because of professional relationships, appearances, or old footage. Without reliable evidence, those connections should not be treated as proof of misconduct. The bigger issue is how quickly social media can transform a question into an apparent fact.
T Awards went off without a hitch last night. A sense of that there. No, inside everything was fine. Outside everything was fine. And Kevin Hart decided that he was going to make jokes about, well, I mean, he's the host, right? So you have to sort of roast a little bit about someone who's in the audience because, well, this person is in a prison, actually right now sitting in a courtroom, and that's Diddy. Yes, he didn't say his name, but it was very clear to everyone who he was talking about here. Watch the reactions in the room.
Diddy was a big part of this culture. You know,
right.
His after parties, you know, were a part of the BET experience. So, you know, life comes at you fast, but, you know, Kevin had to address the elephant in the room.
By the way, we should say the Diddy after parties that happen after award shows, that's not what the trial is about. Those weren't freak-offs. The trial is something separate, but still, nobody wanted to be seen as laughing.
Mays represents another complicated chapter in this story because of his long history with Bad Boy Records and his public disagreements with Diddy over the years. His relationship with that era of hip-hop has naturally drawn renewed attention as people revisit the industry's past. Some viewers interpret his limited public comments as meaningful, while others believe he simply prefers to keep his distance from old conflicts. Either way, his history demonstrates how complicated these relationships can become when business, friendship, music, and personal experiences overlap for decades.
What's going on with Kevin Hart?
I don't know, man.
Oh,
you know, the internet is going wild on him, saying that he was a curator and a narrator of one of the Diddy parties and got caught on tape. You hear that?
Wow. I didn't hear that one.
That must be one of your favorite. That must be one of your favorite comedians, then. Cause you ain't hear that?
That was cool.
Huh?
I didn't hear it.
Get out of here.
It was cool, but I didn't hear that one. Must have missed it, man. I think I caught most of them.
I think he almost fell in the tub with one of the girls. Diddy had some girls in the tub, a tub of baby oil or something like that. And he almost fell in the tub. It was crazy.
You know, he would be one of the celebrities that I definitely wouldn't think would be involved in anything illegal. For sure.
But you gotta realize this, man. People who get caught up in certain those things like that, those parties and things like that, is that they don't go there looking for that stuff. You gotta understand, they get caught up in the moment with the alcohol, the drugs, and then certain bottles that are laced with certain things that take you away from your normal self. And you end up probably doing something that you probably never do again in your life. You never get caught up in those things ever before. There are a lot of celebrities that go to these parties like this. And they not only Diddy parties. I went to a party before and You Can't Handle the Truth and King Kong Ain't Got Nothing on Me was at one of those parties. I was bodyguarding one of the girls. So what I'm saying is that it's rampant, and this was years ago. This was over 20 years ago. It's rampant in the music industry. It's rampant in Hollywood, film, pictures, or anything.
Can I tell you a story, Killer? I don't think I ever told you this story. This is what Puff taught me. One time I walked in when I was fresh off the streets. I got signed to Bad Boy. I had these fresh Air Nikes on, and then had on Air Nikes too, brand new. I made a mistake and stepped on his sneaker, and the dirt was on his laces, on his white Airs. I said, man, my bad, because I had stepped in some dirt. You know, the nigga came back, put his feet in the dirt, stepped all over my sneakers. I said, yo, what are you doing? He said, my bad. I said, yo. The moral of the story is, nobody just want to hear you say,
Meek Mill was also pulled into online discussions after old clips and claims began circulating again. The internet quickly turned those fragments into a much larger debate, despite the lack of verified evidence supporting many of the claims being shared. Meek has faced public speculation before, but repeating an allegation does not make it true. What this episode really demonstrates is the speed at which social media can amplify a rumor. Once a famous name becomes attached to a controversial story, separating documented information from internet speculation becomes increasingly difficult.
I was told the day before the incident at the celebrity basketball game that someone was coming for Puffy and Biggie. And another line that May said that caught my attention, man, was him saying that never found the killer. Why is there? How do you feel about him saying that? Because it sounds like he's referring to Biggie getting killed in LA, and Puffy, he's currently living in LA right now. And why does he feel so comfortable living somewhere that Biggie got killed at, knowing that they never found the killer and the murder is still unsolved?
Well, on all honesty, brother, you would have to ask him that. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm looking at it like that, then I know, you know, those mansions are heavily guarded, 1. 2, he wasn't getting the love that he would get. I don't think he's getting love in LA. I don't know. He said he owns LA, he runs LA, he runs Miami, and he runs New York. So by him running LA, as he say he does, I would feel comfortable too. You know what I'm saying? If I knew for a fact that the person they got, and that was enough to call back all of everything, I would feel that comfortable too. But I wouldn't live there. I wouldn't go there. I'd do business and get on out of there if I was still afraid. I don't think he may have not ever been afraid. You understand? Because he never acted like he was afraid for whatever reason it was. I can't pinpoint it myself, man.
Hey, what's up, King Son? Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, Daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you. Yeah.
The most sensitive part of the discussion involves younger artists who had professional connections with Diddy earlier in their careers. Justin Bieber and Usher were among the names frequently mentioned because of old interviews and footage from the entertainment industry. But their presence in historical footage does not establish wrongdoing. In fact, this is exactly where responsible commentary becomes important. Young performers often enter the industry surrounded by established professionals, and later events can cause audiences to reinterpret old moments. That does not automatically change what those moments originally meant.
Knew back in the day that Meek Mills and Puff was a little too friendly. Anytime two rappers or two people in the industry come dressed up alike on more than one occasion, listen here, man. My dudes in Philly, I got some real strong dudes in Philly. They don't play that. And they probably embarrassed for the fact to see that Meek Mills, one of the street guys that came out of there, got caught up in this Hollywood, whereas that he's dressing like Diddy, hugged up with Diddy. I think that Lil Rod know a lot of, but I know this. Two men dress alike, it's just like two men laying down. When they both get up, they both homos. And that's real talk, bruh.
My man, you go to a party, dog, and the nigga got the same shirt you got on. I'm taking my shirt off. I'm walking around in a t-shirt. And then, not to blow Meek Mill's up out the water or anything like that, it was said that they checked his Google search and all that, and he was searching for some online gay porn and all that.
Oh, wow.
Crazy, bro. But listen, those are what, you know, it's crazy that money, that lifestyle, and you trying to fit into something get you. These guys never set out to do all this. Meek Mills, when he got into the game, he didn't set out to be questioning about his manhood with Diddy. But he put himself in that position.
Like, you know, where we hanging out and what we doing, we can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So.
Another major theme is the long history of unresolved questions surrounding violence and deaths within hip-hop. For decades, artists and investigators have raised concerns about cases that remain mysterious or unsolved. That history has inspired documentaries and investigative projects designed to revisit old evidence and encourage renewed public interest. The important point is that unanswered questions should lead to investigation, not automatic conclusions. When a case remains unresolved, the strongest approach is to examine documented evidence, credible testimony, and official findings rather than allowing speculation to fill every gap.
Even bootleg, yo, they don't even bootleg no more, man. So it's gonna be hard to figure it out if it does exist.
Do you believe the guy in the tape is white?
If he's bigger than Diddy, and he's not none of the names that I said, probably so. But then they say he was young too.
Yeah, they say he was young.
Let me get his name right. I hope it ain't the Bieber. I hope it's not the Bieber.
That's a good one. It might be him. But if they saying that the guy is young and he's an A-lister, I can't think of that many black people, man.
Right. Not at all. And somebody that's more powerful, more of a celebrity than Diddy. You understand what I'm saying? If they were saying somebody that was more celebrity than Diddy and he was an A-lister, he was younger, you know what I'm saying? And if he's not black, it would have to be the Bieber. That's his name, Bieber? They said I got that wrong too. Justin Bieber, allegedly. I don't know, bro.
Right. But when you heard the news that Diddy, he had a tape with another man, did that catch you by surprise or not?
Well, all this is by surprise to me. A lot of this is by surprise to me, to be totally honest, man. Because I knew Puff, I knew Puff Daddy, I knew Diddy before he was Love and Brother Love and back to Diddy. So, no, but the Diddler, he's the Diddler now. A lot of it's surprising, but it's not unheard of. Because you hear of all kinds of shit, and whether it registered with you or you internalize it or something like that, that's a whole nother story. But a lot of this stuff is crazy, but this is the world.
The documentary surrounding Sean Combs was presented as a long-form examination of his career, controversies, relationships, and the events leading up to his legal troubles. Its producers described extensive research, interviews, and previously unseen footage as part of the process. They also explained that covering decades of history required significant time and careful organization. That context matters because documentaries have practical and legal limitations. Not every piece of material can automatically be included, and some footage may require permission from its owners before it can be publicly released.
Stacey Dash, Ray J, Clive Davis, how are they all connected?
I want to say Diddy, but I don't.
We're going to be going through all of those possibilities.
Oh, okay. I wasn't supposed to answer. Okay.
And when we started LA as a Graveyard, then, it was like, okay, we can't just say that anymore, especially after I took them up to 35 for us to film about what happened in Mo there. It's hip hop.
Yeah.
And that's going to be moving on to Tombstone.
Okay.
And we'll be going through the unexpected, unusual deaths, unsolved murders, mysteries, things of that nature, things that I know, things that I'm directly connected to. We want to create this aspect because we want to start teasing people's minds into wanting to get these crimes solved, because the truth is, it seems like the hardest murder to solve in America is a rap murder. They just don't seem to get solved.
Without question.
That's a problem.
Without question.
Because we got over 35, 40 years of hip-hop homicides.
Yes.
How many of them get solved?
They created a whole show. Yeah.
Unsolved hip-hop mystery? Are you kidding me?
Hey. I have to ask you, you mentioned Clive Davis. They just showed him recently walking into somewhere, and they asked him about Diddy, and he said, who? Is that old age, or does he not, they're not in the same world? Or they're in the same world, but they're not cohorts?
One of the biggest questions involves reports of additional footage that was not included in the documentary. Discussions suggested that a substantial amount of material remained outside the final episodes. But there can be many reasons why footage never reaches viewers, including ownership rights, production decisions, privacy concerns, legal review, or simply the structure of the project. Until the material is officially released and independently examined, claims about what it contains remain speculation. The unanswered question is therefore not just what exists, but whether the remaining footage can ever legally and responsibly be made public.
People have been talking about for some time now. Alex, let me begin with you. The docuseries is entitled Sean Combs, The Reckoning. How is this one different from the others that have been out there?
Well, I think that the biggest marker of what makes this film or this series different is how much time we took into putting into the making of the film, doing our due diligence to get the right voices, to the table. This is a series that spans over 30 years. So just by covering that much time, it took a lot of time for us to dig in and to kind of make sense of this story and to put this timeline together.
Yeah, and there's like some never before seen footage that I'm going to talk to you about in just a moment. But Curtis, people know about this very public, long-standing feud that you've had with Sean Combs. So what brought you to this project?
Well, I just want to make really hit television. I like the idea of it being exciting, and I picked this project and started working on it about 5 months before I found Alex. And I know that she has the artistic integrity that it would take to make it a great project, and there's the Quincy Jones era of production is find me that bass player because he's the baddest man out there in Chicago, and find me that keyboardist and fly them in from Miami, and we put them in and had the greatest jam session they ever heard, and it just always resulted in great hit music. And I take that concept into television production.
You take that into everything you do, sir.
That's right.
You really do. It really comes through, and appreciate that about you. As I said, never before seen footage of the days leading up to his arrest. Can you just talk a little bit about, was there anything that surprised you from that footage?
The footage, well, I mean, I think it's rare to find someone who's being, talked about all over the country. All eyes were on him, so to speak. And it was really interesting to see his last days of freedom, and what was sort of important to him. Obviously, there's phone calls with his attorneys, with his team. It was very interesting to watch a man who's known for his brand presence. He has a really amazing knack for marketing and all of that, and how he was sort of taking that into account in how he was coming off to the public, in the days leading up to his arrest and indictment. So that was interesting. It was also just interesting to see how laid back he was at times. But, the footage also, in the footage, we also see how he's getting incoming, lawsuits are dropping, and to get his real-time perspective on that was sort of jaw-dropping when we first got our eyes on the footage.
Was there anything that surprised you when you were watching the footage?
No, that didn't surprise me at all.
Because you've known him?
Yeah, those behaviors. And I think it was surprising that he actually filmed it.
Yeah, and I want to ask about that, because how did you go about getting the footage? And do you know the intent of the videographer, why he or this person took the footage?
She's a journalist, right?
Yeah.
So she's not going to reveal her sources, so you don't have to reveal that.
Not going to reveal my sources, but I think that partnering with someone like 50, it was very much in the universe as to what we were doing.
As more interviews, clips, and historical material resurface, the public conversation continues to expand beyond one individual. Viewers are examining relationships, business connections, old interviews, and the broader culture surrounding the entertainment industry. But there is an important difference between asking legitimate questions and presenting assumptions as facts. The most compelling part of this story may ultimately be the documented record itself, what was said publicly, what was confirmed in court, what was independently reported, and what remains unresolved. That distinction can completely change how audiences understand the controversy.
I didn't see this, but apparently there's another 100 hours of Diddy footage on the cutting room floor?
So Diddy is still doing press. I mean, Diddy. 50.
Diddy is not doing press.
No,
he's doing press on the yard.
He's doing press, like he's doing push-ups. No, 50 is still doing press, and obviously with the success of the Reckoning documentary, he's talking about there's more footage. There's 140 hours that he has, and each episode was only maybe an hour, I think. Mm-hmm. There was 4 episodes, so there's at least 130 something more hours that he hasn't edited or produced. And he's saying that he may put it out on YouTube, just to put it out there,
like on his 50 Cent Devo page.
I don't know if it'll be on his page, but he just said, he doesn't know if he's going to release it with Netflix or through Netflix. He might just, put it out on YouTube or wherever, some other platform. But the one thing that he said that was interesting is, he said, because you see people out here trying to, say, oh, the documentary can paint a narrative, this and the third. And his words were, if you see the rest of this footage, there will be no more, kind of like, oh, you can paint this narrative. It's pretty clear cut, the things that are being said in the documentary, the things that he still can't believe Puff, because he says that a lot, like he can't believe Puff actually recorded all of this.
Yeah. But I mean, so why does 50 not put that, if it's that damning and that crazy, why not put it in the doc?
I don't know why. I don't know why he didn't put it in the doc. Maybe, the stories, maybe he has more people that he would need to interview and have sit down for the documentary to kind of go through those stories that are in there. It could be a number of reasons, but the fact that he has over 100 hours of footage of personal footage and things like that leading up to the case, because the story is Puff felt like he was going to win the case.
Yeah.
And that this was going to be footage for his documentary that he would have released.
The Redemption.
After the trial was done and things like that. So, the amount of things that he probably was recording, just going off of the fact that he felt like they were going to win the case.
Yeah. This is my footage and these guys aren't going to put it out.
Yeah.
Like all the crazy shit we're going to take out.
Right.
But I mean, even I did see who I think was the director of what Diddy was trying to do. had mentioned that he was on vacation or was out of town and had someone fill in for him. And that's the only footage that made it to the doc because that guy sold it. So maybe that director didn't pay the person to fill in, so he owned the footage and was able to give it away. But maybe all this other footage, 50 doesn't have permission to put out. Like, okay, he could have it, but the director's like, no, this is my footage. Like, you got the other because I had my man's fill in for me for 3 days, and he has that footage now.
Right.
So maybe that could be it. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like 50 is so petty that if it was that crazy, he would have just put in the doc. But who knows? I don't even want to speculate what is on the 100 hours.
Yeah.
After Lil Rod telling me what was going on, I don't know if I want to see it visually.
I mean, you know, and for 50 to say the footage that's on there is it leaves no more room for, you know, people to kind of say, oh, you know, the narratives are being created, it's false. For 50 to say that, I mean, you know, we can only imagine the footage that he's seen and that he has. So we'll have to see if any of that ever sees the light of day. I'm sure that, you know, Diddy's team is going to do everything they can to make sure that doesn't happen. But you know, I don't know. Honestly, I don't even know if I need to see anything else.
Ultimately, Katt Williams' comments remain interesting because they raised questions about power, influence, and accountability long before many of today's discussions reached the mainstream. Whether every interpretation of his remarks is accurate is impossible to establish from speculation alone. What is clear is that the controversy has forced audiences to reconsider how the entertainment industry handles reputation, relationships, and uncomfortable stories. The real lesson is not to assume that every rumor hides a secret, but to keep asking informed questions and demand evidence before accepting dramatic claims as truth. When the facts become clearer, the public can finally separate the documented story from everything built around it.